Good afternoon and good morning to our merry Marvelites. I am Christian Bladt, coming to you live from the bunker down below Avengers Mansion. As always, with me, the one and only Michael Shirley,
Hey guys, I'm here.
and
It's true.
of course Count Eric Connor, Elastic Eric, as he's going by today. That's right, lots of punching to the
Well,
face.
it's more it's a very large fist. I'm going for the
Stretched out.
fact that
Yeah.
that might
Well,
be absent in Miss Marvel.
we have some fun topics for today. We have a moment of in memoriam as well, but also I think the excitement really comes from yesterday when we got the announcement. One, Ms. Marvel will be on our Disney Plus screens on June 8th. So I think that they're gonna roll out of Moon Knight, give a little bit of spotlight to Obi-Wan Kenobi, but they're not even waiting for that's over. Then we're gonna get right back into Marvel. So there's a lot of excitement, but there is some questions and comments, and some people are upset. Daniel
What?
Drew, I mentioned my thoughts on the trailer to Kate yesterday, or guess my hopes for the show and what could be planned as for the trailer itself. He did love it. But I think that for some people, the problem is that the trailer just sort of what it reveals. But Cami Egan, I think the Ms. Marvel trailer looks delightful. I've read the comics and love the stories. So this is where it comes in to me is I am not that familiar with the Kamala Khan Ms. Marvel. Mostly what I've
Uh-oh.
seen are in Spidey and His Amazing Friends, and my daughter watches that show, so that they didn't take the time for an origin story. I remember seeing her on the previous animated iteration, Marvel's Spider-Man, over there on Disney XD. So I don't have the disappointment in what her power set is, because to me, powers look kind of cool, and this is definitely a very quirky character, and I think that that's maintaining with what people love about Kamala Khan. It's to go with a reference from 20 years ago, you sort of get like a a vibe of a show like Scrubs or something, where it's not, or Ally McBeal, where things are not actually, what you see on screen isn't always the reality of what's happening. There's a
Are
lot,
we
there's
gonna
like
get some dancing babies?
uh, I mean, if we're lucky. So let's each of us talk a little bit about it. Michael, your thoughts on the trailer and this representation of Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel.
I think it looks I think it looks really fun. It, I like the way the trailer went. I don't know if the show's actually gonna be as quirky as the opening of the trailer was. I don't know if that was just editing for the trailer, because it seems like we only got those little word bubbles and like comic book kind of like art just for a few seconds. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that, but it looks fun. I love anything kind of out of the box, and I love things that kind of reference the comics. I feel like WandaVision did a really good job feeling like a comic book in that kind of a way. I was telling you earlier, I am not here for the weekend, but I think that was like the best use of his music.
Yeah, I was saying that the only thing I like about the weekend is the clip that goes around every Friday of Daniel Craig from Saturday Night Live saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend," and I'm like, yeah, that's what I like about the weekend. The music doesn't do it for me, but it does work. I think it works really well in this setting. And look, Kamala Khan being an age group that she isn't going to like the same music as me, so she probably doesn't have Devo, and I actually meant to say Dio, but Devo either. She doesn't have Kiss Destroyer on her playlist, and that's fine. She shouldn't. But I do hope she has the Peacemaker playlist. That's all I really hope for.
Oh,
For her.
I don't think that's allowed.
Yeah, well,
But
go ahead
I
and finish
will
your thoughts. Sorry.
say, the one thing I am concerned about for this character is the origin story. Uh, the way Inhumans went and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I don't think this is going to be a Terrigen Mist thing. I think if they're smart, they're going to go with some Kree type of origin story to fit in with
Yeah.
the MCU's incarnation of Captain Marvel. I'm assuming the bracelet she puts on is what gives her powers, and it is probably Kree technology.
I mean, look, maybe Shang-Chi drops a ring, and now he's only got 9 rings, and now
or
she's
maybe
got one of
it's
them.
just Annette Bening.
I'm good. I'm glad we got back to Annette Bening.
Maybe.
It's been too many minutes into the show. Yeah, look, I think that sometimes characters that have bracelets, they are the source of power, but sometimes it just helps you channel your powers, So I think until we actually see the show, we'll have to see how she gets these abilities. And, is it one of those, you think that the bracelets are actually what gives you your power, but Dorothy, it was inside you all along. Elastic, what? Maybe she was born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know. Eric, what did you think of the trailer and your thoughts on the character of Ms. Marvel?
You totally took my Shang-Chi line. So yeah,
it's like, really?
Okay, does everyone have a freaking Shang-Chi bracelet? That was my first thought. It's kind of like how everyone in DC seems to get their hands on kryptonite, which is supposed to be so rare, and yet I'm pretty sure
I got a
selling
guy.
it at 7-Eleven.
You need kryptonite. You let me know. I'll tell you after the show.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to find in Burbank too.
Nope.
But you
know where Warner Brothers is in relation to where you and I both live. So yes, we actually.
They got a whole supply there. They make Slurpees out of it on Olive. Yeah, long and short of it, I found this charming. I think it was. This is the challenge we've talked about a lot on this show. Is how do you do yet another superhero story? How do you do yet another limited series based on a comic character? And to their credit, they keep finding new angles. And they haven't really hit the same angle twice yet. Now, I do worry when I look at that list of what's to come, although I do worry a lot more about Star Wars on that end than I do about Marvel.
Don't worry about Star Wars.
Okay. Then,
Star Wars will be fine. Yeah. Boba Fett is a kinder, gentler gangster. But anyway, finish your thoughts, Eric.
Yeah, he woke. I don't have the problems with Weekend that you fine gentlemen have. Listen, I know Michael, Shirley, and I would both be very happy with Tank Girl soundtrack being available.
What are you trying to do?
I'm having
what was that? What was that little rectangle that you held up? How does that?
This is called a compact disc, where you would take a disc and you put it. I don't have a CD player.
Is it like compact, like you use for makeup? I don't think I understand the terminology.
It's like a compact. It's like a discus. It's good for coffee as well. I think this is cute. I think it was fun. I know they changed her powers around, which is causing a lot of very overweight Marvel fans to clutch their chest even more than usual. But I mean, the truth is we're going to have the Fantastic Four soon. You get that sense that maybe they're just trying to stay a little clear of Reed Richards, even though their powers are not identical in the comic. But
it looks like her wrists got really big and moved.
I think hand, I think, in one image, right?
I don't think they completely changed her powers. And again, what I know from the material that I have consumed with Ms. Marvel in it is that her fists get really big, and it seems. I mean, we see that in this trailer, and I think that. They don't completely rewrite her powers, but Daniel Drew has a concise version of something that he messaged me. I don't like that the bangle, walk like an Egyptian, seems to be changed from what it is in the comics. It's a personal and cultural importance to her, so making it alien tech or whatever is just blah. Again, we have to see how they use it. I think it could very well be she channels her powers through it. We have seen that.
It also looks Indian in origin, the way it's styled to me. So I don't think they're gonna shy away. It probably will be some kind of family heirloom, and we got to figure out why it is came to be.
Yeah, Ghost 8386 speaking to the kids here on the panel, and by the kids I mean me and Eric. The beginning of the Ms. Marvel trailer was giving me Better Off Dead and One Crazy Summer vibes. Absolutely.
Yes.
To me, that is still the representation of teen life. But
And everybody wants some.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, the character that I probably most identify with is the counselor who's trying to be like, I mean, high school, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of the way that I will probably try and talk to my kids.
I'm a year away from one of mine going to high school. I can't even handle the thought.
Yeah, you ever talk to those people who are like in high school and actively loving it, like friends, kids, or whatever, and you're like, I can't relate to this alien. I don't understand how that's
Believe
possible.
it or not, I really liked high school.
I liked it from like the middle of 10th grade on, but it was not great.
That's 2.5 years of it then. What are you complaining about?
I liked some of it, I was suddenly very handsome just for those 2.5 years. That must have been what happened. And and agree with Ivan Soto. I do know that she does embiggen, and anytime we can invoke embiggenment, I think is great. And Daniel continues, what I hope is that she'll use the bangle and then it'll break. Yep. And then she'll have latent power unlocked. This is basically what I was saying. And her proper powers later on, whether it'll be the Marvels or a possible season 2 of the show.
Why y'all want her to break her jewelry?
Yeah, right. I mean, that stuff's expensive. I don't know, but I don't know. I'm excited for it, and I like that it feels different. Somebody in the chat, and my apologies, I got too far down the list. Somebody said that they kind of get a little bit of a Spider-Verse vibe, just sort of like her being a little awkward and daydreamy, and then using the sort of the word balloons. I agree with all of that. But I mean, I think that it's obviously there is a concerted effort in recent times to have more representation with some of these characters, and I think that they're actually doing a great job of that. What we're seeing here, and I don't know. I mean, I think that the superhero stuff looks pretty cool. I mean, it's I'm mostly the image that I'm showing now. My focus is on all those unattended dinner plates, and is somebody going to take care of that? And should I have come through? And I'm sure it would have been whatever that event is. I'm sure it was delicious. But I mean, I sort of like this idea, and you're right. We've seen a lot of superhero origin stories before, and this is a unique one because this is one that we haven't really gotten on screen before. And I don't know, I'm excited for the show. And Moon Knight, which is going to precede this, is also going to be very different. But I think we're going to get some great content from our Marvel friends. And I do understand that people who are really attached to the character are nervous, but the little bit that I know, I mean, it seems like her parents and her mom in particular is like, you're not going to be a superhero, so just, stop daydreaming. This isn't like, she wants to sing and dance on Broadway. It's like, I want to be a superhero. Like, no, dummy. There's only a few of those superheroes. So I don't know. I like it. And Ivan Soto with a little tidbit. Kamala is the third Muslim American superhero on TV. The first and second are on DC's Legends of Tomorrow. I did not know that, but I like that Marvel has taken such great strides with having more characters that look like the people that are potentially watching these shows and seeing these movies. So I'm excited for it. And I guess once we actually have the show, that's when people can start to pick apart that maybe they don't like her powers. But look, I think that they did a great job in casting someone who really looks like they're not a superhero and they're going to find their way into it. And I think that's great. I mean,
you think she's going to get ripped?
I don't know that she needs to, in all honesty, I mean,
I'm just kidding. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. But, so I am excited. What are your hopes for this series? What do you hope we get to see? Do you want to see it a little be self-contained, or the fact that what I know about her is that she really looks up to Carol Danvers, and that's why she in previous iterations, she has that variation on the Ms. Marvel suit. That the first time she like jumps into action, she actually makes herself look like blonde, white Carol Danvers, and then she realizes that she can still look like herself. So, do you think that we're going to see Carol in this show, Michael?
I think in the last episode, last scene, yeah, I think that's going to be it. Brie Larson is a very busy woman. I think it'll be kind of what we were wanting in WandaVision from Doctor Strange and didn't get.
Yeah.
We just got Ralph Boner. I think
we did get Ralph Boner.
I think they're gonna have
which is what I wanted.
So I think they're gonna have to give us Carol.
We really got Ralph Bonered in that one. I agree.
Yeah, even a headshot, like with the spelling of his name.
Yeah.
Come for the Strange, stay for the Boner.
Is that on the posters
for
Multiverse
of Madness too? Like they really wanted that to be Boner because it's spelled Boner. Yeah, like they were just messing with us.
Assholes.
Yeah. What do you think, Eric? Do you think that we'll get Carol? Maybe we'll get Monica. Some other Marvels throughout.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, no, I think
you didn't think about Monica.
They might skip us and give us Monica instead.
We're gonna get Joey. We're gonna get Ross and Rachel. We're gonna get all of them, and maybe even Phoebe. I think. I do think, in essence, we're going to see how this links in, and I mean that's something I'm kind of looking forward to as well. Is like that energy that Spider-Man brought the MCU once he showed up in Civil War feels like it's due for a refresh, and so now to have her show up. And suddenly, like the new kid on the block, who is and even more so than Spider-Man, is a total fangirl. I think that's going to be great, and I do hope they utilize her because it feels like that's a way to keep this stuff fresh. Is you not just kind of bringing in new people, but new people that change kind of like the DNA of the whole relationships to begin with.
Yeah, I agree, D'Amica Saxon, Eric is on one today. I think you're just on. I don't even know about the one. In the current Ms. Marvel comic, she's been discovering the evolution of her power, so we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I think that this 2-minute representation of what we're going to get is nice, but there's really going to be a lot more for us to see as we get to spend some more time with the character, in all honesty.
From what I understand, she's pretty much like a mixture of like Mystique and Mr. Fantastic with her powers. Oh hey, yeah.
Oh hey, Michael has the floor.
I think that's going to be really interesting to see because she's a shapeshifter, and I don't know that they're really going to play that up in the show. It might take a little longer to develop, but I'm interested. I feel like she's a character that her powers will change over time.
No, I agree. And I don't know. I'm just excited to see more. I feel like we'll probably get some more images, maybe another trailer as it gets closer. Once the attention focuses away from Moon Knight. But in the meantime, we will talk about some sadder news, which I can make sadder even still. And when you have the Incredible Hulk, the only way you can make things with the Incredible Hulk sadder, of course, is to invoke the Lonely Man. Hat tip to Edgar Martinez on Instagram, who I told I would be stealing this from because he did post the Marvel Studios notice and he did use the Lonely Man, the theme from the Incredible Hulk, to mention the passing of William Hurt, whom we all know as Thunderbolt Ross. And I did want to take a moment and talk about some of the other work that he did, because he's not just Thunderbolt Ross. And who somehow had the thought to name his daughter Betsy Ross at some point in his life. And I think she's really Betty, but I'm pretty sure her name was Betsy. Eric, birth certificate. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there are a few movies I think to just talk about in the sense of there's a vast body of work, and Eric, you mentioned a couple that I one of which I didn't even see, but we'll talk about that in a moment. For me, I always think about a moment in The Big Chill when they're talking about their friend Alex, who is Kevin Costner's hairline, but not featured in the movie, talking about how he killed himself. And they're just, he's getting high. I think it's with, I think the scene is with Mary Kay Place. And she's like, the last time I saw him, we fought about something. And he takes a hit off of his joint and he says, maybe that's what killed him. And I'm like, oh, it's such a terrible moment, but it still makes me laugh just to think about it. I didn't even need to think about a moment from this movie. And I think that it's, you have that ensemble, and to be a part of it and to stand out in any way is easier said than done, I think. But Eric, I wanted you to talk about a couple of movies that you brought to my attention that made you think. And then let's see, the first one that I'm going to show is The Doctor, which I do not know much about that film. So talk a little bit about The Doctor.
Sure.
And now this is History of Violence.
History of
so
Violence.
As soon as I clicked on it, I switched to the wrong one. So let's talk about History of Violence first.
Yeah. Well, and Christian, there's definitely a movie I was going to mention, but you said, I want to also mention a second.
Oh, I'll get to it. Yeah.
I'm staying away from that. But
yeah.
History of Violence. This guy shows up for one scene that's about maybe 7 minutes long, and he's up for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. The whole movie, we're waiting to meet him. He played Viggo Mortensen's brother, the gangster out of Philly. And that was my old beard when I lived in Philadelphia. So he actually modeled his look after me and my old hairline. And he has this one line where one of his goons has to just go behind, choke him, and kill him. And of course, Viggo escapes, and he just goes, "How did you fuck that up?" And it's the best use of the word "fuck" ever. And you could see why he got an Oscar nomination, even though he's only in one scene, because even in a great movie, he just popped off the second he showed up.
Yeah, and I think that to be able to stand out when you're in something with a great cast also, broadcast news immediately comes to mind. And I mean, anybody who's worked in media in any, I've never really worked in news, but I mean, it's fascinating because if you watch it now, sort of what they tackle in terms of like the late 80s, in terms of the line blurring between what's reality and what's entertainment in terms of news. And, it's just it's a great movie that I haven't seen in such a long time, and I also love that look for Albert Brooks, where he's got the full head of dark hair. It takes me back, but it's a phenomenal movie. And then the other one that you mentioned that I wanted to show is this is the one I don't know anything about. The Doctor, who is not Strange, not Who. This is a different Doctor entirely. So tell us about The Doctor.
Yeah, not, and it's not even Dr. No. It's just, and it's based on a true story. It's, I believe the name of the book was A Taste of My Own Medicine, and it was about a surgeon who basically gets sick and then sort of learns what it means to be a patient. And early on, someone asks him how's business or something like that, how's work, and he just says, so matter of factly, we're killing them. And it's like such a great line of, so much to that. And he has to learn humility. The formula of it is pretty formulaic. He, gets a second chance at becoming a better man, but he sells every second of that film, including when he has throat surgery and he can't speak. It's a terrific performance, sort of lost amidst like The Kiss of the Spider Woman, which he's so good in broadcast news. Worth checking out. A little bit of a weepy. Axel Torres.
Axel Torres from Ghost 8386. And Daniel has a good point. I wonder if he filmed anything for Marvel before he died. The last thing that I know he was in was that scene at the end of Endgame. Oh no, he was in Black Widow. Continuity wise, the last time we saw him was in at the end of Endgame, but Black Widow came out after that, and Natasha does not have any trouble getting away from Thunderbolt Ross. I think that he wasn't that old. So, I think that when bless Kirk Douglas, but when he passed away at like 102, you were like, okay, yeah, I think that sounds about right. So I don't quite know what impact it'll have, but there are other characters from Marvel that can sort of fill that role. I don't think we were getting a Hulk movie anytime soon anyway. So I don't know. What do you think, Michael? You feel like getting Thunderbolt Ross, it'll be easy enough. I doubt that that's a character that they're going to recast. I think that just whatever role he would play in a future movie, let's have Julia Louis-Dreyfus, handle that aspect of it or whatever. What do you think, Michael?
I've just been staying silent because William Hurt is a rapist. Like, he raped Marlee Matlin in the 80s after Children of a Lesser God, and like that is like.
Well, I knew that there was I
never denied it, and he apologized for it.
Okay.
So to me, that's an admission of guilt. That's like, I don't know. I think he's like human garbage, but that's just me.
Sure. No, I know that there were those issues between them, and I know that there was a court case, but I legitimately didn't remember what came out of it. That was like, and it doesn't belittle what it was, but I remember it being in the news. I remember being in the news like 30 some odd years ago, give or take. So I didn't really remember the ins and outs of it. In terms of the character, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think that
they'll just get what's her name, old Julia
Louis-Dreyfus,
Hoffman, Stedman,
Andy McDowell.
I forget what we had so many different names for her during the course of that show.
Well, and Christian, please remind me, Sam Elliott played Thunderbolt Ross in the other Hulk movie, right?
Another great guy.
Yeah, so I'm about to
say, guy's really out there right now, doing well for himself.
Oh, and right behind me, I have the Power of the Dog book. I won that as a prize. It's like this huge coffee table book, and I'm in honor of his homophobia. It's right there, in case, because I know Sam Elliott's a big Marvel movie news fan, so
he is.
I wanted to stare at him and his. He's got a. I'm sorry, I don't want to even take us off track with that.
No, I know, but I mean, look, it's also like, yes, you were asked a question, but you don't have to answer your question honestly. And the only person to not fault in that conversation is Mark Maron, because you asked that question and you're like, oh man, I get this answer. And, he's willing to go on record as all of this. And probably, look, if you record something every once in a while, somebody after the fact will be like, could you take that out? I don't think I should have said that. That never happened. No. So it's interesting, and I think that Licorice Pizza is such a much more objectionable film for anyone who's seen it. So
really, it's funny, Christian. I was thinking about Licorice Pizza today, and I was thinking, like, you know what? I don't think it's a very good movie.
No, it's not. It was
weird. I liked it when I watched it, and then I was just sitting there thinking, like, some of the ridiculous moments in that film that made kind of no sense, didn't add anything. And I had a moment of realization right before we went on the air. I'm like, I don't know if I like that movie so much. And I don't want him winning the Oscar for that screenplay, but
no.
And I know you stand on that hill with me.
Unless they want to give Bradley Cooper like a best cameo, I'll be fine with that. So as we dive into phase 4, there was this article that we didn't get to last week, and this is what they feel like. CBR.com, the 10 best Marvel characters introduced in phase 4 so far. We see 3 of them. And Dane Whitman has so much potential, but here's the thing. We have not seen any of that potential really in Eternals, to the extent that, Michael, you didn't even know that he was the Black Knight when you watched that over the course of
he's like a 6 weeks. Teacher or a psychiatrist or something.
And then Shang-Chi's brother, Shai Ling, I would definitely like to see more of her, and I think that they set up at the end of that movie that we will. Mockery is Marvel's best speedster. She's very fast. They don't have a lot of speedsters that we've seen thus far. We don't have a living canon Quicksilver at the moment. Not Ralph Boner. So I guess we'll have to see if we get another speedster. And Michael, I know this will warm your heart. Speaking of WandaVision, Billy and Tommy.
Those are definitely my phase 4
Yeah,
favorites.
I feel like they should be. And Sylvie, Lady Loki.
No.
And we know that we're going to get a whole series of Maya Lopez, a spinoff of Hawkeye, so the Echo series. And Michael, do you agree with Agatha Harkness? Is that that's a top vote for you, right?
Pass.
No.
So many trigger words there. Agatha, Harkness, Catherine, Han.
Yeah.
Happiness.
Match for Wanda. Yeah. Kate Bishop is a great successor to Clint Barton. I mean, I like the junior squad that we're getting. Shang-Chi led a brilliant movie. And I know we have some accompanying photos that Eric sent me. I can't disagree with their choice of number 1 being Yelena, because she really did steal Black Widow from Black Widow. When you can steal
your
a movie
head's
from
that huge. I
yes,
mean,
I know Natasha couldn't see anything, but when you steal the movie from the title character, and yes, I know she's also a Black Widow, and Kame Egan just throwing it in. Not a fan of Sylvie. Dominica Saxon. I liked Sylvie by the end, but what does Dominica Saxon say, Michael? Not a fan of Agatha. So apparently it was not Agatha all along in the hearts and minds of our Merry Marvelites. What are you bringing a whistle?
Yeah. Is that dog whistle?
He brings a bell.
I've got the bell. I mean, the bell is specific for another show that I do. So you can listen to the Whistle Chronicles with Michael Shirley. I just clicked on something that almost kicked us all out.
Get out of that webpage, Christian.
Yeah, I know. But I know Eric sent me a collection of images, so I'm going to give Eric the chance to talk about. Yeah, no, not those images; those are on our private text chain.
Yeah, no,
these images
that was sent via snail mail.
Yeah. So tell us what you think of this crap. Yeah.
So my goal is to eventually turn Michael into just a cloud of smoke, and he disappears into the
smoke monster from Lost.
Yeah, who then goes around just killing people who have DUIs. So I like Sylvie. I will stand behind my liking of Sylvie.
I'm with you, by the way.
What's that?
I'm with you. I like Sylvie.
Yeah.
I didn't at first, but like Dominica Saxon, I came around. Yeah.
These are things Eric likes. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Now I get it.
So, and by the way, I even found out that when they made Sylvie's costume, she had recently had a baby. So they actually made it so it was breastfeeding friendly, which I thought was
interesting,
amazing. Like that
because Tom Hiddleston also wants his costumes to always be breastfeeding friendly.
Oh, I mean,
so I don't know if you knew that. Yeah.
I always got to air out my
Legends figure.
Shang-Chi, big fan. And so upper right is just how do I not use a photo of Willem Dafoe with a full-on mustache?
It's very Yosemite Sam.
And I know we had him before, but I thought his Green Goblin in this phase reminded me why I love Green Goblin in the comic. In the way that Spider-Man 1 never did. Then I like the vampire Wanda. I'm sorry, vampire zombie Wanda, and of course in the center square.
That's Fastos is from the Eternals, right? That's the McDonald's toy. Yeah.
We'll hold off on the center square. Upper left.
Save center square for last.
Oh yeah,
because it's
Red Menace or whatever his name was, just because it feels like a superhero I could easily play. Same with the bottom left. I think I'm wearing the same shirt as him, in fact. So all the more reason.
I think you are, actually, yeah.
White Vision, because anything West Coast Avengers West Coast is good in my book.
Yes, thank you for the correction. Yeah.
Yes, I trust me, in this room I know. And then, yes, the upper one, I loved his.
It can go as both, though. They switched the name of the West Coast. It was West Coast Avengers, and it was Avengers West Coast. It was both, because that really messes up my alphabetical order comic book.
It's a boring reason, but they switched the title because they wanted it to be filed alphabetically in comic shops next to regular Avengers, so that people would see it. And I don't know if it helped, but that's why Solo Avengers, which episode, issue 16 has a letter from yours truly that changed to Avengers Spotlight for the same reason. So that they wanted to keep the Avengers books grouped together. And that is the more you know here on Marvel Movie Talk.
They just wanted more people to read your letter, Christian. I think that was the only reason they changed it.
I don't know why I didn't write a letter.
Oh
to
my
Avengers
God. Can you imagine if one of Christian's books, I like how I'm calling it like Christian's books, got a facsimile edition and was like reprinted?
Oh my God.
The omnibus of only Christian letters.
If anyone ever finds me and wants me to sign a copy of Marvel Tales 212 or Solo Avenger 16, I will absolutely sign it for you. So
literally putting it in my suitcase for the next.
I will not charge for the signature. All right, that is
you
a
already
free
charged
signature.
me $20 for one. What are you talking about?
That's the friends and family discount. Yeah. What if I got a table?
Center Square, the banker, the Center
What
Square.
What if I got a table at San Diego Comic-Con where I only signed Marvel Tales 212 and Solo Avengers 16?
You would have to go to you'd have to go to like Burbank Comic-Con.
No, it's better to spend all the money to get a table at San Diego. That's why I would do it. Of course I could get a table at the Ramada over
the Radisson.
Airport. Would you it's the Radisson,
collect the issues like on eBay and like online so that you'd have some.
He buys every copy in existence.
I would like to buy every copy in circulation, but anyway, Eric, let's talk about your absolute favorite character right there in the middle.
Right there, middle. God. Listen, the guy that I at some point I'm gonna find him and bring him onto this show. I don't know which Toronto coffee house I'm gonna have to go to find him, or Atlanta.
Just get on IMDb. Yeah. I'm sure he will do it.
Oh, I know.
I know this guy will do it.
I would love
a montage of you talking about him, like
supercut. I want a supercut of me and the banker.
Look. Like, people might tell you they're your biggest fan, but clearly I am your biggest fan. So.
It would probably be an exclusive, like be like the first show to have the banker on to talk about his role.
An entire hour dedicated to his incredibly elaborate character.
And Ivan, it's who we're talking about in the middle. That's the banker from Falcon and Winter Soldier. So
if you're a real fan, Ivan, you would know that.
The true villain of Falcon.
Cami Egan says, I want more Red Guardian. Dominicus Saxon says Red Guardian was perfect. David Harbour knocked it out of the park. I would like to see more Red Guardian. I hope we see him. I don't know why we wouldn't, except that he, I guess, needs to be like 10 years older or something at this point, which that's fine. That's not going to hurt the character.
Yeah, he's already old, so it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. I think that this is great. I like, in terms of potential, I'm excited to see what they do with Monica Rambeau, the Captain Marvel of my youth, member of the Avengers. So I think that is a character with a lot of potential. I like her, whatever her unfinished business / anger at Carol for, not helping save her mom or whatever, her issue is. I look forward to seeing that, but these are all good entries. And Michael, for you, it's really Speed and Wiccan, right? I mean, that's like that's right at the top. And where would you
get them grown up?
Where would you rank Agatha Harkness? Where is she on your list?
She's stuck in the dark hole, like in the appendix.
Appendix. She's on the
footnote,
the dust jacket. Yeah. One of the topics as we wind down over the next couple minutes, one of the topics that we were going to get to, we spent a lot of time comparing Marvel characters to sort of like who we thought would be good to get like a gritty sort of, year one style reboot, or prequel, I guess is the better word. I don't know what Eric is doing there. Okay. And Eric, you created a graphic last week, so I want to make sure that we don't let those Photoshop skills go to waste. So explain what Red Eye is to you.
So I'm thinking about, year two and this idea of a character still kind of coming to grips with who they are now, what their powers are now. Cyclops, what I was grabbing here was I even found like one of my Cyclops comics I had floating around. I think there's something so fascinating about him. I was one of those few people. I think, Christian, this might be you too. We're a little more partial to Cyclops over Wolverine. I might be wrong on that, but
when it comes to somebody that makes sense for Gene, it's always Scott. Logan is not gonna, you don't settle down with him. I can see being intrigued by him, but I right up until like page 10 of Uncanny X-Men 201, I always liked Cyclops, and then he does what they call the heel turn when he decides to leave his pregnant wife behind so he can go look into rumors of his dead girlfriend coming back. Which is not a very heroic moment.
Well, I suppose that's what's interesting too, is there is this kind of weird little bit of darkness in him. He has to come off like the Boy Scout, because I mean, I always was fascinated by the superheroes that like had powers that they were not really in control of, that if your wits aren't about you, you could kill a lot of people, cause a lot of damage, and that's Cyclops. And
mirror, all you need is a mirror.
Yeah, well, easier said than done.
We did establish that last week. It's true.
So I think like for him coming to grips with the idea of like what it means to always be able to control that beast, sort of like Hulk or any of the ones that can just get wildly out of control, I think it's a pretty interesting story and actually would make for a really good drama. So yeah, this graphic obviously is a little rando, but I think there is a story there to be told, and one I would like to see. And I give my time to Michael Shirley and his judgment.
Well, our pal Kaitlin was going to join us today, and she actually created something last week. So it was non-Marvel, but what she wanted was the Bird Person, which I guess is a spin-off. I guess that's a spin-off of Birdman, the Michael Keaton movie. But she took the time. She doesn't usually do
that's awesome.
the Photoshop. Yeah. So I wanted to share the Bird Person.
Like a dragon fruit or something.
Yeah, I mean, my answer is boring. Like I was just like, yeah, let's get Punisher year 1, which is actually I think.
Oh, well, you remember my Punisher?
Let's
Punisher.
The Punisher, yeah, the Punisher. I don't have that. I don't have that loaded to go, so I'm sorry.
I'm starting to think I'm Michael's newest trigger word. Just my name.
Oh, man,
I mean, the way he texts me.
Cyclops graphic again, we just talk about like what happens when like you don't take your really bad case of pink eye to the doctor, and then you just get red eye.
I mean, so that's your takeaway. You feel like that's what the story should be. It's
like issue 4. It's like get me to a hospital.
This isn't Cyclops. It's just somebody farted on their pillow, and this is what inevitably happens next.
Yeah, that's the only way pink eye ever happens. So Hank McCoy just cut one on his pillow and was like, "What?" I mean, it's pretty funny,
It like broke his shades.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Do you have a thought for a character, Michael, that you would like to see? I know that you didn't do any Red Eye style graphics, but do you have any thoughts for somebody? It's okay. I asked you in a very leading way, giving you time to think about it.
I actually thought about this for a long time, and it was kind of hard for me. And I don't know if it's because I was so stuck in that Netflix Marvel way of thinking.
Which, by the way, those shows are all on Disney Plus with the new parental controls today. Today is the day that they're all there. So, and it's called like the Defender Saga, I think is how they've characterized it. But anyway, so yes.
My thought is probably going to sound a little strange at first, but I would love to see Firestar, and I would
Angelica Jones,
and Miss Lion.
So we need Miss Lion from
the 80s
Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, if Miss Lion comes along, that's fine. So people hate the character of Firestar. Some people do because of apparently things she's done in recent years. I know her mostly from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I know her from her not well written Tom DeFalco miniseries in the late 80s. She,
I have
she
that.
shows up. She shows up in Uncanny X-Men 193 is her actual appearance, first appearance in the Marvel Universe. She's with the Hellions and Emma Frost for a time. I think that there's great potential for that character, and I would like her, Spidey, and Iceman to be amazing friends.
That was kind of my thought in the end, but I like Eric, like to think about the characters that just don't have it super easy with their powers, and I feel like they really humanized her a lot by giving her breast cancer from her own powers, and I felt like that was so original. I believe that storyline is in the Marvel Divas comic. And there's also, I think in the comics, there was this way that she was like getting cancer from her powers. And it's just, that comes along in the end. But I think that would be a cool origin story because she is a mutant and
Yeah.
they haven't introduced mutants yet. But I think that she could be a really interesting person that you could follow and say she's wondering, why am I sick? Why, like, why is like the radio never work when I turn it on? Like, like, why is it crazy? Like, and maybe she's someone that would come to find through her like struggles that she is a mutant and learn how to control her powers. And it would be so fun.
Well, I mean, to explore that, it's sort of reminiscent the original, the male Captain Marvel in Marvel, Marvel, the death of Captain Marvel, the first Marvel Comics graphic novel, is about how he got cancer, due to exposure, and I think he worsened it by using his powers over time, and it's this really like heartbreaking story. And to the extent that anytime that they ever revisited the character, they would always pick him out of like a different part in his timeline. They at some point they may have changed their mind, but they wouldn't bring him back to life because this, that was at the time where a character stayed dead, which lasted for like 5 years with the aforementioned Jean Grey. But the idea that it can have that kind of weight and dealing with a serious topic like that, I think you have that built into Firestar, and that would be really interesting. I had heard that about her, but I also have read a lot of Twitter comments on how people did not want anyone voting for her for that recent mutant vote. Yeah,
I haven't heard the final count, but I heard it was between her and one other character to be on the new X-Men team.
Yeah, who is the other character though? That
or you don't know? It was Penance.
Yeah, Penance and Siren was someone we could vote for, who is, of course, Banshee's daughter. And in our final moment, I wanted to make sure that I highlighted my hat turn, which is, of course, St. Patrick's Day, Mr. Met, because tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. And we really could have done a whole episode on Banshee's greatest hits. I don't actually think we could have done a whole episode, but if you do some research into the Banshee character, he was initially, when he was first created, he was drawn in a very derogatory manner for an Irish person, and they gave him. He did not have a humanoid appearance. Just I could look it up, but I would have to.
I did not know this.
Yeah, well, why don't we let you guys talk about do some plugs, and I'll see if I can find one as I wish everyone a St. Patrick's Day, a happy one, which is tomorrow. And if you don't drink, you can at least get a Shamrock Shake from McDonald's. Eric, where can people find you?
Well, can I give a quick moment to I know at least one of you despises everything pop culture that I enjoy. But
it's probably
Christian,
me.
You can kiss my ass on this one. Razor Ramon, rest in peace.
Oh, I did hear about this, yeah.
And in St. Patrick's Day too, it's I have my own weird connection because my last name's Irish, though I'm a full-on bearded rabbi-looking Jew, and it was my mom's birthday, who passed away a couple years ago. So here, was that may the wind always be at your back, and I will be having at least one more Shamrock Shake before the end of this hour. And you can find me at Conner and Connor to continue discussions of Shamrock Shakes and all things faux Irish with this Jew.
Yes, I think that's definitely what people are looking for. And Michael Shirley,
Yeah.
if people want to keep in touch with you, how do they do that?
It's at I Hate Michael Shirley on Instagram and on Twitter at Michael X Shirley.
Perfectly timed, I would say.
And this is from a great site called Claremont Run. And in his earliest appearances, Sean Cassidy, Banshee, was represented with a highly dubious facial feature that signifies a racist and dehumanizing tradition of anti-Irish propaganda. The signifier in question is called the simian shelf, a protrusion around the mouth that was frequently used in cartoon representation of the Irish and British propaganda of the Victorian era. The implication was simple. Irish people were drawn with a feature intended to make them look more like primates, thus suggesting the Irish people were ape-like and unevolved. Whether conscious of this tradition or not, Werner Roth consistently illustrates Banshee with the simian shelf, thus connecting the character to a long-standing tradition of dehumanizing anti-Irish imagery. I'm not quite well. Then we've got Homer there, but though Banshee does not have a lot of context in the issue, Giant Size X-Men it sort of splits the difference a little bit. But by Uncanny X-Men 94,
what between his lip and his chin? What are you talking about?
Yeah, but so then this is kind of how we remember him, sort of the Jim Lee style.
I love the hair, though.
Yeah, it's very
the bread girl. Right.
So I think I just thought it was worth mentioning. On a day of Irish festivity and celebration that not that long ago that was a group that continued to be maligned even in the pages of Marvel Comics, but there are not a lot of Irish characters in Banshee and Siren, by being his daughter, I think are really the only ones that we actually have there. But because even Maury McTaggart, I believe, is Scottish. And literally, right as we're saying goodbye, we're
Irish
winding down the
smiling.
Show. We have Kate there, and we were talking about some Irish characters that we have in the Marvel Universe.
Of course we are.
And just as we look to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, we talked a little bit about some of the history, did a little history lesson that I don't think anybody was aware of. And, honestly, I think I only know about that because the Claremont run mentioned it. But Kate, earlier we did show your bird person graphic. If you wanted to take a quick moment and talk about that, about the fact that Kate doesn't usually do the Photoshop homework. So we appreciated that. And Cammie Egan calls you her squirrel girl.
Cammie! You made my life happen.
In about 1 minute, I have to go and do Biden time. So join us for that. But Kate, what do you want to say about Bird Person?
It's good. It's going to be the next one. It's going to be the sequel starring Robert Pattinson.
and Zoe Kravitz.
And Zoe Kravitz. Yeah.
We'll circle back to our first topic. I'll give you a moment to share your thoughts on Ms. Marvel, the trailer that we got yesterday.
I'm excited. I also play all the video games, and I know Ms. Marvel is very vital to those games, as the audience normally starts with Ms. Marvel in the new Avengers series. So it'll be interesting to see how she ties into the larger narrative. And then I know there was also another question about, I don't know if you got to it, what would benefit from a darker take?
Yeah.
I would say the Bloodstones deserve a darker take.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that story. I don't think.
Have fun researching Elsa Bloodstone and the story of the weird monster hunters of the Marvel universe.
Yeah. Well, thank you for popping in, Kate.
Sorry it was so
I'll
late. I appreciate
That's all right.
everybody.
I'll see anyone who's so inclined over on Biden time. And I don't know what you'll get in this slot next week, but it might be nothing. Might be something that I pre-recorded. It might be any number of things. But so I don't know who is making all that noise. So I just muted everyone. But we'll be back for sure in 2 weeks as we talk about the first episode of Moon Knight. So thank you, everyone. And as always, Eric. Okay, so now we know who's got all the background. As always, it's great. Stan Lee would say, Excelsior.